Hello, welcome to my channel, Wing Spiritual Clarity. My name's Wendy Wing. I'm doing a daily psychic tarot reading for you, tuning into the day's energy, seeing what divine messages of guidance come through. This is a general reading, so take what resonates and leave the rest. I just want to thank all of you for being so kind and supportive to me and to each other in the comments. I'm just loving this group so much. You guys are amazing, and I appreciate you so much. I love that this is what I get to do. I love what I do. So, all right, let's get to what I love doing. So let's start in the past. We have the Five of Pentacles. Feels like being abandoned. The abandonment wound, feeling neglected. For a lot of you, it feels like this is one of your first experiences in this world and in your lifetime was being neglected, being shunned, being not taken care of. This could be even, I'm perceiving like the Ferber method, leaving infants alone to cry it out in the crib for hours. There's a lot of neglect type of energy of being an infant and not knowing how to regulate and being left to your own devices. So it doesn't feel like your parent knew how to regulate, and instead it feels like I'll pick you up when you calm down, instead of like, you're new to this world, let me show you how to find peace, how to find calm. So from the get-go, it feels like this has affected your life, this abandonment wound. Also, so the way I'm seeing the behavior, the way you were raised was behavior modification, was if you do something, if the parent perceives you as doing something that's incorrect, then there's a withholding of affection, there's a separation, there's a you're not allowed in this group type of feeling, shunning. And so you never want to make a mistake because your life depends on it as a child. Your life depends on your parent. So it creates a lot of unhealthy coping strategies to chase love, to feel unworthy, to fear abandonment above all else. This also creates an environment where you don't ever want to be independent, where you're very clingy and needing of others' approval. Very codependent type of toxic patterning here that causes just endless grief and sadness. It feels like you've really carried this unexpressed sadness and grief from this original wound, and it's created a lot of hopelessness in your space, maybe even helplessness, learned helplessness, CPTSD, a chronic abusive coercive environment. I'm also getting that you didn't, in this environment, growing up in this type of environment, you didn't internalize hating your parent who treated you like this, or the parents. Instead, this type of upbringing creates an environment where you internalize your abusers. And so you start criticizing yourself. You start You don't even need your abusers there any longer. You are just constantly at yourself. You're constantly down on yourself. You're constantly talking to yourself in a very hurtful and painful way. It feels like if you didn't learn how to heal this, that type of behavior, chronically internalizing your abuser and feeling very down about yourself, you might have autoimmune issues. So, okay, moving on to this current energy. In present time, we have the Ace of Wands. A spark, passion, desire. It's just a spark. So if this flame is wanted, if you want to build on this, then you have to kind of nurture the fire, nurture the flame. But it's a spark. It's new energy. It looks like whatever this newness is, it's bringing up a lot of fears internally, like internal fears, internal worries. Okay. What is the spark? What's this new opportunity? Letting go of an old way of being. That is terrifying. Maybe it's an environment or a group that you have felt until now, like this is my group, this is my tribe, this is my people. Feels like you want to let go of this group, this environment. There's fear of there's a lot of fears. Fears of, do I have what it takes to leave, to let go? It feels like you're leaving what you've known for a long time or in your life. This is big. This is a big move. It feels like you want to move to calmer waters. You're tired of this painful cycle, betrayal, of being spoken to in a way that is very cruel. It's a combination or either painful communication. Someone feels very confident with treating you and talking to you in very disrespectful ways, hurting you, wounding you, and also withholding of communication. I feel like this is the type of energy they would never apologize, because apology means an acceptance of what they've done. I think what you're recognizing here, and the passion that you have, this spark is giving you enough spark to leave a very painful environment. This could be a religious group, a family, a society, it feels like it's groupthink, and that it's okay that it feels like it's whatever this group is, it's steeped in patriarchy, a top-down type of structure. And the people, the higher you are, it's okay to treat the people below you any way you see fit, because you have power over them. So anybody below you can treat poorly. So everybody's scrambling for ground. They're scrambling to be at the top. This structure feels like, as I'm looking at it in this current energy, that it's being pulled apart by the collective. And so that's what this feels like. People, like an exodus from tyrannical groups. There's nothing left there. There's no opportunities. The finances in these groups are falling away. It's making the energy of this type of group feel desperate, more fearful, more they're feeling things falling apart as the truth is coming closer, as this power structure is no longer acceptable. And so it feels like a lot of fear and a lot of projections, a lot of trying to find higher ground, trying to be right instead of any type of internal any type of internal reflection. Feels like these groups are doubling down on who do we need to blame, who's causing this, who, because they can feel like the time's out for this type of behavior. There's no new energy, there's no new opportunities, and it does feel like finances are really dwindling. It's not working anymore. Wow. So curious what that is for each of you. So, all right. What's hidden is the Page of Pentacles. This card tells me that someone's willing to learn a new way of being in the 3D. Not just new thinking, but new actions, new ways of perceiving reality. Something that's much more balanced. This is someone who's willing to start over. And because when you start over, you can create the foundation. And so instead of creating a foundation where everybody's in the survival mode and only the people up top benefit from this structure, it feels like there's a new way of being. And it feels like, oh, wow, the Ace of Cups. It's based on love. It's based around love. And it even feels like this type of imagery here might be more suited for the new type of structure, something that's a pattern, no one's above others, where there's collaboration, cooperation, ability to be yourself and be of service to others, using innovation to uplift others so we can all have the same advantages, accommodations. It feels like this is causing this type of belief, like we could all be equal. We could all be on an equal footing. Feels like that would be very devastating, a tower to those who have benefited from this top-down structure, who enjoy their positions, who feel entitled to other people's labor, other people's unpaid labor as well. So it feels like there's a new structure coming in that is based around something that's much more loving of the self, being yourself, and of service to the collective. So that's very Aquarian energy. Anything else? Feels like this plan hasn't really been enacted. Like feels more internal, like people are strategizing. Feels like it's time to start implementing. It feels like the time is changing from just ideas to people actually moving out and creating these new structures, these new ways of being, this new kind of societal way of being. This, by the way, I'm perceiving this new type of society like in the next 100 years, that this shift, and perceiving like 200-300 years in the future, looking back around at what's happening now. There's like, can people believe that, you know, that was so barbaric to be in a system like this? I think we've all learned a lot from this structure, from power dynamics. But it does feel like that's where we're moving as a collective, where the story's going, where our consciousness is becoming more 5D. So we're becoming more fourth dimensional, quasi-physical, able to perceive, not only be in the 3D and perceive and act in the 3D, but also perceive non-physical, not just 5D, but other realms that aren't perceived in the 3D. Wow, cool. Yeah, it's a nightmare, but there's a comfort zone, being comforted by an old way of being. Even though it's a nightmare, it feels like it's going to take a lot of change, a lot of work, a lot of figuring out how to, oh, what a great message. It looks like as we in the collective start figuring out how to soften the divide within, being less black and white, good or bad, but being more full beings, being able to accept all aspects of self more. So at first it feels like a very internal job, and then we start behaving in ways that are more connected in the 3D. So the rift, it feels like the war, the rifts, it feels like at first it's an internal issue, and then we'll start to see the shifts in the 3D. I hope that makes sense. Okay, what else do we have here? Yeah, there's a lot of happiness, celebration, what makes us happy, what do we want. It feels like individually that there's enough room for all of us to create what we want in this world without just taking into account the people at the top, what they want to create. In the more rounded version of society, it feels like there's more happiness to be had by everyone. Very much a celebration. There are those that this change is really difficult for. Those who aren't comfortable with emotions, are emotionally shallow, or just can't, like they can't emotion. This feels like the worst thing, because the emotion that they have to face is fear. A lot of fears. And it feels like a lot of people benefit off of people being afraid and stuck in their fears. And so there's a lot of people who Okay, this is people who who enjoy lording over others, who like being correct, like being putting people in their place, like judging. It feels like this is healing, that this is coming to an end. I'm also getting a message here of there's no need to talk to or try to convince people, because you're either experiencing the calls coming from inside the house. You can't convince someone. This is an internal type of shift. You can't convince someone to join you in awakening to having more of these kind of new desires for equality. It feels like not even wasting your breath or your time trying to convince someone. It feels like the message I'm getting here is just focus on healing what's within you. Yeah, it's a pretty solid message. You can't, that's the whole point of this. You can't make people change. Can't make people, that's what this whole thing is. You can't make people into what you want them to be. So if you have people who benefit and want to stay in an environment where they can stay in control and power, there's the only way that I'm perceiving is that someone has to have a call from inside the house, from inside their spirit, to call to this type of awakening, to ask for this. It's not something you can do to control, and I'm getting that you wouldn't want to do that, because then you're kind of enlisting the same type of tactics that they have to control and manipulate people, to decide their value, other people's value, and control and manipulate their life. So you don't want to do that. That doesn't work. It feels like yeah, I'm just going to move on. I think you get what I'm saying. I think you get what I'm putting down. All right, the outcome and advice is the Nine of Wands in reverse. Someone's feels like letting your guard down to allow an idea, or allow something that you once didn't allow in, and now you're letting your guard down to it. What's being allowed in? What's being accepted that once wasn't? Again, the Nine of Wands in reverse. Letting your guard down. Wounded warrior, you've been through a lot. There's letting your guard down, letting something in, and Queen of Cups. Okay, this feels like letting go of victim mentality, letting go of the stories, and letting in loving messages of what you want to create. Letting go of the victimization, healing from those wounds of being victimized. And it feels like you're allowing in, accepting someone that you weren't accepting is what it's talking about here. There's a need to use your intuition with the High Priestess card. You have this unlimited potential. You have this very loving, kind, sweet energy. And it looks like there's these messages coming in. It feels like these messages that are coming in are meant to disarm you. Meant to get past your guardedness. Someone, it feels like they're taking advantage. They want to come in. They want to plant something. Feels like someone that you might have had your guard up. It feels like they're finding how to get close to you, how to be able to say something. They want to say something to get this Queen of Cups that's very loving and nurturing. They want you to explode. They want you to lose your stuff. They're wanting you to outwardly explode in a way that like exposes who you are or something like that, or stops you from focusing on yourself and what you're loving. Okay. Because I was asking why, I'm like, why are they doing this? What are these messages? Why are these messages coming in? Two of Cups and Two of Swords in reverse. Some clarity around a Two of Cups and why it didn't go anywhere. Feels like someone's trying to poke at you. Someone's trying to poke at your wounds and to get you to lose your stuff. Just absolutely. Yeah, they're trying to get you to act maybe in the way you did before you transformed, before you did a lot of healing. It feels like you've done a lot of healing in this reading that I'm perceiving. And if you lose your stuff, if they can get you enraged or get you wounded and in your emotions and act crazy, then they can get people to abandon you. They can get people to see that you haven't changed, that you haven't transformed yourself, and that people should abandon you. So it feels like as I'm tuning into your energy, you keep evolving, you keep changing, you're learning new ways. And there's someone else who's very stuck in this Five of Swords. Page of Pentacles in reverse, Five of Swords. So Page of Pentacles is what we were talking about in What's Hidden. New patterns, new way of being. And so there's someone who does not like this new way of being. Does not like you being in that new way of being. And so they feel like they want to bully you and get you to act in your emotions. Feels like you see this person coming a mile away, that you've learned too much to engage in this type of activity. Yeah, you recognize that this person is just trying to sow seeds of unhappiness. And it anything else we need to know about the advice and what to do? Yeah. This is just you wakening up with the Judgment card. You're having a new life, a new way of being. They're all naked on this picture, so I can't show it. But with the Judgment card coming up, this is an awakening. This whole reading has been talking about a life of awakening from a very toxic, hopeless way of being, and creating a new path, a new way of operating. And so I think you know that you're going in the right direction if you get pushback. If people weren't arguing and resisting this new way of being, if they didn't see it as powerful and loving and wonderful and equality and all that, then they wouldn't be working so hard to stop you from this progress. So it feels like, as I'm perceiving it, that this is where the collective is going into this age of Aquarius. And so you can either go along with it or resist it. And so it feels like there are people in your environment who are resisting. So all right, you do you. Hope this is helpful. Take care. Bye.